Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Pete. This is Nick with Roofr, and welcome to our next masterclass. We're happy to have everybody here, and very excited about this topic and taking a little bit of a deeper dive from some of the things that we've touched on in previous Roofr masterclasses. The slow season is upon us, right, Nick? It is that time of the year. And I want to throw up a poll question right here from the very beginning. Just a couple of things really quick, guys. We're going to have maybe some polling questions throughout. I'll just throw them up there so you guys can quickly give us some insight. Also, if you guys have questions along the way, feel free to throw them up in the chat. We have Alex with us as well from Roofr. He's going to man the chat today and help us out there to make sure we get all your questions answered. So, feel free to throw any comments or questions that you have in that chat as we move along. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this polling question right here. And just, you guys give us an idea really quick of what you guys used the slow season for, right? I don't like the off season. I don't like to call it the off season, rather call it the slow season, right? Like we're all still working, right? So what are we doing, during that season? And, one of the things that traditionally I've seen is this is the time to kind of reset, right? This is the time where we take a look at what we've been using all season. How did it work for us? How is our proposal software? How is our CRM? Where could we possibly save some money? Is it worth the money that we're spending? Was it easy for everyone to use? Did it do what we needed it to do? So, I think there's a lot to be said for taking a look at that past year and how everything performed for us. And also, how are we setting ourselves up for success in the next year? And what can we do even in the off season to maybe take some of that information, generate some leads from it so that we're not going in cold, next season, right? So today we're going to take a really deep dive into the proposal feature of Roofr, right? This is a newer feature for us. We've added a lot of stuff to it already that have really makes it a tremendous feature and can really step up your game. So, I think looking at that, see a lot of guys saying here that just looking to optimize their operation, right? Like that's what we're looking for. How do we make the operation run smoother, make it more efficient, make us more organized, right? So this is perfect. Like that's the perfect thing for what we're going to be talking about today, because this platform does exactly that, right, Nick?
It does, really. And when you're looking at the off season, as you will, there's no off time in roofing. When you're running a company, you're always looking for that next step. And everybody out here wants to learn how to grow, wants to learn how to build everything here. So the goal is to find out how to optimize that. Exactly looking at that last year and seeing what 2022 is going to bring for you. And that's something that I'm very proud that we really focus on. We have the measurements. Everybody knows our measurements, but the proposal tool is something that's going to really streamline your workflow and allow you to take on more leads and allow you to optimize your workflows internally so that you can sell more jobs and grow your company.
Yeah, so let's take a look at it from the point of view of, I'm just going to play the part and say here, I'm a pen and paper guy, right? Like maybe I'm 20 years in business, let's say, and we've traditionally been a pen and paper proposal person. I'm more or less doing most of the quoting myself, probably because I'm just the most knowledgeable. And, I'm looking maybe to take a step back a little bit, or I'm looking at a way to make it not so labor intensive here in the upcoming year. So how does this platform play into that, right? Like can these tools do for me to take what I've been doing on pen and paper and, just streamline that process and make it way more efficient for me?
Yeah, it comes down to exactly that, is trying to open up. Taking a step back doesn't mean slowing down. It could mean like a big step forward. So if you're doing everything on pen and paper, you're going out to the jobs and measuring it by hand. There's a lot of stuff in there that take up time that you could be using towards other things. Spending time with your family, training new people, hiring new people, expanding your reach, etc. And those things can be the measuring. It could be the conversion of all the math there into bundles, into value sheets, into ice and water starters, so on and so forth. And then writing down that and logging that information. Do you have like those 3 pieces of paper, the carbonite, where you're writing it down and it opens up? Like that's an option. And then you taking that one copy and putting it in your file. And then if somebody calls you back, you got to go through that filing cabinet and find that person's and just kind of moving it. I remember that with my parents' company, how they used to do that back in the day. And it takes up a lot of time. When you have something digital like a Roofr, you're able to actually have everything at the click of a finger, a click of a mouse, click of your smart device, whatever the case may be. And you're able to find out the information, pull it up instantly, and bring value to your company as well as your customers. We're all in sales in one way, shape, or form in this chat. We have us, like, we could be salespeople, we could have business owners, but we all know that getting a sale really focuses on the value. What value can you bring? And that's where a system like Roofr with the proposals can bring value to not only your company and streamlining that flow and opening up some time for the rest of the things that you need, but also to your customers. And we'll be able to go through that today and showing you the value points that you could propose to your customer so that you can get more jobs sold at the end of the day.
Yeah, let's go ahead and just dive right into it, Nick. Let's start to take a look at the Roofr proposals and really dive into everything. Look, we're going to show you today how you would set this up. Like, let's say you just came in, I am the pen and paper guy, right? And I'm coming to Roofr for the first time here. I want a better way to write up my proposals. I want a more efficient way to do things. So I'm coming in fresh. So just start me from the beginning and let's dive into exactly how this is going to work, what my options are. Maybe I've got a couple different ways of possibly creating proposals or presenting my information to the customer. So show me like what we've got in here and how I can utilize this.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about what we have going on here. You come from a CRM world, and you've probably talked to a lot of these pen and paper people as well. And the beauty about pen and paper is it's pretty versatile. Like, I could write down something different on there. I don't need to change a template or have a tech guy kind of construct something for it. So from the very beginning, what we have in Roofr is a very simple and easy and quick way to start something up. It's not going to take you week to 2 weeks or more to get ramped up and sending out proposals with us. It'll take like an hour and maybe two just to get everything moving. And it all starts here, as in the catalog system. So in the catalog, it's where all your items live. And it's very easy to start it up and get it going. As you can see, I have a pretty robust catalog here because I like kind of adding everything in. Whenever I talk to someone, I add something else in. But this is where everything lives. And there's a couple of really easy ways to put it in. You could start off by creating a catalog by using one of the roofing systems here, where we have 6 of the major manufacturers: Atlas, BP, Certainty, GAF, ICO, and Owens Corning. And their 5 major components to a roof with the coverages already inputted. So if I were to click on, say, Certainty, for example, it would open up these options and we could import them or multiple into our catalog right away. So when we're talking about speeding up the process, this is exactly it. You have the ice and water, you have synthetic underlayment, starters, hip and ridge, and the shingle itself for that one. And all you have to do is add in your pricing. So right off the bat, this could really open up the door to speeding up the process. We also have the CSV file. So speaking of that supplier as well, if you have your material list, which most of you guys do because you get pricing all the time, that changes recently 3 times a year or more. But you could get that CSV list and upload everything in there. Nails, valley, drip edge, you name it, all there. Or you can go the old-fashioned way, which is so easy with Roofr. You can just click on an item here, add item here. And what it will do is you can go in here and just start adding things in. So nice and simply, you can just go, let's just delete this out. And let's say we have storm vent. Let's say storm shield, ice and water. You can just go and you can map it. And this is the real beauty thing about Roofr, is being able to map things from the measurements. We have this built into the catalog where you can click on it and select where the ice and water shield or the peel and stick, depending on where you are, is going to be located. We're going to have it on the eaves. Maybe we'll have it on the valleys as well. Maybe we'll have it on the on where all the flashing is. But you can go and just mark up everywhere that you want it to be. Mark out the coverage of it. A roll is 60 feet. Each roll is $125, for example. I'm guessing I haven't bought a roll in a while. And just put it in, and it's built in. So any of these ways, it's so quick to get this started and get you up and running.
Yeah, I think this is a huge thing to note. And this is actually one of my favorite features of our proposal feature is the fact of how easily you can build out this catalog. Traditionally, I think this is one of the most labor intensive parts of it is is just getting your information in there, right? Like how do I get my pricing in? If I do have the mapping feature in the software I'm currently using, what did it take to build out those map to measurement formulas? You know what I mean? A lot of those things are like building Excel formulas, right? They're very involved and time consuming to get that set up for every individual item. And we've taken this and just dumbed it down. I mean, to just being so simplistic to do. The fact that you can load those roofing systems, the fact that it's just clicking boxes to create the map to measurement feature. It just is so easy that you're talking about hours as opposed to in the past maybe days or weeks to set this up traditionally in some other software. So I really love this part of it. This is the biggest time saver, I think, when it comes to using Roofr, and it really sets the groundwork to get you going. One of the things that I really like about this as well is that so many softwares break up your labor and materials. So you're having to go back and forth between places to make adjustments. Here it's one master catalog. Everything's in the same spot. I can quickly scroll through there or look up an item, make an adjustment. I've got my material, I've got my labor. Everything's just housed under one roof here, which makes it really easy for me to go in there and tweak things, as like you said, as pricing changes happen, as I have to maybe increase labor or something along those lines.
Exactly. You can see as you were going through that, I was able to show you different options on getting the pricing catalog going, as well as how easy it is to quickly change something. Takes seconds. And we know how busy we get during the heat of the season. Pricing changes come in around June, July, right in the middle of it. And you're running around with your head cut off trying to figure out what to hit next. Well, now you don't really have to worry about it. It's quick, it's easy, and it's able to upload. And the beauty about this is you could quickly just hit this little drop down here, write in a description about this, exactly what it needs to be. So if you do have description items that you like to add to your process, you could add it in right here. So standard labor rate for all roofs under 512 pitch. Something very simple. You can see that these get highlighted in blue if there is any stuff underneath it, any description underneath it, and you could have that or not have that. But the really cool thing is from here, this is your master sheet, like you said, the master catalog that has everything there. But from everything in the catalog, you can build out templates in seconds as well. You could have a bunch of templates for any type of situation, from single off items, from repairs to manufacturers, to multi-option ones, a good, better, best, a multi-option, a shingles, metal, SFT, so soffit, fascia, trough option as well. Really opening up the ability to grow, to speed up your process from start to finish.
Yeah, this is huge because I think in so many platforms, you're somewhat templated in the way that you can set up these different kinds of templates. You know what I mean? You're very like kind of constrained, and Roofr has done a really good job of leaving you wide open now to have any type or multiple types of quotes if you want. Like you said, you could have a repair quote. You could have a multi option if you're a contractor that does multiple trades. Maybe I want to be able to quote a number of items at a customer's house and have them cherry pick what they want to have done, or based off of their financing, what they can afford to have done. We can set that up here with a multi option. Maybe I'm a good, better, best quoter. Maybe, I'm an Owens Corning or a GAF guy, and I offer different packages based off of warranty, based off of underlayment, a step up in shingle quality, so I have all that option in here. I can build all different kinds of proposals. So what that does for me as a contractor is now, by setting all this stuff up in the catalog and setting these templates, I've now standardized the way we quote. Right. So now it's not me as the pen and paper guy and the 20 years of knowledge being the only person in house that can go out and quote a job, or it being an objective thing where, Nick and I are going out to the same house and quoting it slightly different because we're looking at it differently or we're counting it slightly different. We've just taken all of that and standardized it so that it's literally create a measurement, pick a template, apply that measurement to that template, and there you go. You have your number, right? So the beauty of that is now you've set yourself up to take a step back, right? As the company owner or as the guy who's been the quoter, right? Take that step back and, take a look at how you can expand this business now. I can hire people that don't even necessarily have extensive roofing knowledge and teach them how to use this tool to quote.
Yeah, when you're looking at getting into that 2022 season, you're looking at the options of what you want to do. Most of us want to grow or at least maintain the status quo and have some more free time. This is something that you could either train people on, train yourself if you're not very tech enabled, like me. I have some issues with tech all the time. I'm a roofer by trade. I'm not great at it. But being able to jump into a system, learning it with ease, and then being able to apply that to your next season is really going to help you out. And when we're talking about the downtime from Thanksgiving, which is this weekend, moving on, it's not a time to completely shut off, relax. You should be relaxing, but you should be looking at what I can do for next year. And why not jump on it during your slow time when you have time to learn it, when you have time to kind of really strategize and plan. Roofr gives you all those options from proposals to measurements with imagery in the summer, spring, and fall. So you're able to canvas neighborhoods, send out measurements, build out quotes for people, and really help out. And one of the other cool things that I really love about the ease and the simplicity of our system, we can build something as simple or as robust as you want it. We'll go into like versions of quotes and showing you how gorgeous they can be and how they can win you business. But what I really love is back when I was quoting on pen and paper, a lot of things I was really qualifying these leads, making sure that I'm not wasting my time going out there, measuring a roof, getting up on there, and then writing up the paper and handing it to them. Now, this opens up the door because it speeds up the process so much that I can quote all leads that come through, because there are those ones that I know that I probably left out and didn't actually quote because I didn't think that they're going to be a quick value for a good value for my time. But now you can measure them all. You can measure them with Roofr and build a proposal in seconds and still send that out. You're not leaving anything out for chance now. You're able to really attack every lead with like the confidence that you should have, and really make sure that you're building and selling more.
Yeah, let's talk about the type of customer today, right? And how this plays into that, right? Like, obviously, we're seeing a shift in the buying process. COVID obviously supercharged that a little bit and sped that up, to where I think we're seeing a much more tech savvy buyer, a much more educated buyer, and a buyer who knows a little bit more. So they're looking for more information from the contractor or the person quoting them, but also it's no nonsense anymore. Like, I want to be able to, show interest in needing a roof and get a quote right now. You know what I mean? As quick as possible. So it comes into play about, like we were talking about the Amazon thing. If I go on Amazon and I look for something, it tells me it's not going to be here for a week and a half. I buy the same product from somebody else.
Yep.
Right. So it becomes speed to lead. How do I become not only the best looking person at the table here with my quote, but also the first person to the table? Because how many times nowadays is that going to win my job just as easily as being the best looking quote at the table, right? By just being the most efficient.
Well, that's a good point that you make. I think there's a combination of those things. So like it's 2021, it's the Amazon age. Everybody's looking for that instant gratification. Also, the research, like you said, are top notch. Somebody wants to learn about shingles, wants to learn about a class action lawsuit. They're going to find it in 2 seconds and they're going to ask you about it. So there's no sweeping things underneath the rug anymore. But that speed to lead is very important. People want to see that first one. But if it comes on like a door hanger and that's your quote, I have people in around my area, the fly-by-night roofers that will come by when you're not home and just hang a door hanger with a quote attached to it. Never talked to them, never called them. It's something that's a great speed to lead, but there's no quality behind it. We're going back to that value statement. Where is the value behind it? So if you're not only the first one out there, but you have the best looking quote with the most amount of information, that transparency and education that we always talk about in these master classes, you're going to be top of mind at all time. They'll be like Pete from Pete's Roofing. I gave them a call. They were within 3 hours getting me out a quote with a measurement, my measurement attached to it, a brochure built in, and everything else about their company they're top right now. And it doesn't matter where your price is in that spectrum. If you can give people something comfortable, it's going to make a difference. We've always talked about how roofing is not the sexiest of purchases. It's not that new kitchen. It's not that new bathroom. It's not something that people are going to walk into your house and go, wow, this is stunning. But it's what it's going to do is protect your home. And I always tell people when I'm selling roofs back in the day is your home is your biggest investment. Your roof is protecting that investment. And people are more and more aware about that all the time. And they're not going to throw down 5 grand, 10 grand, 20 grand on a roof without really qualifying the contractor that's coming in. And with a proposal like this that we're about to show you, you can be that qualified contractor to put their minds at ease and be able to win that job more often than not.
So let's take a dive into this, Nick, and look at the features that really make this proposal stand out from the crowd, right? I mean, we've all seen proposal softwares at this point in the roofing industry, whether that be in your CRM, whether that be other platforms. What is going if I'm up against some people that are using these other platforms or using their CRM to create a quote, those quotes a lot of times are efficient, but not necessarily fantastic. Let's be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're very kind of bare bones, right? So, what kind of tools has Roofr put in play here to really make this thing stand out from the crowd?
Yeah, it comes down to just that customization, just putting it all in your hands. You don't have to call a tech guy to make sure that we have a new template, we have a new tool, we have multi options, we have good, better, best, we have image uploads, we have everything that's in there. And I just want to go through a quote before we show you how quick and easy it is to build, and then what it's like for the customer as well. But this is a quote that I built out. You can map the measurements directly from your Roofr measurements, which is fantastic as well. You can brand it with your logo, upload a photo of the home right off the bat. You're going to have your everything titled with a little summary on it, descriptions on everything as you go along. And you can see I have a multi-option here. I have OC duration, GAF. I also have gutters and downspouts and softened fascia, all separate items there. And then you have a summary page that really kind of gives them a quick little understanding of what you're offering here, along with the prices. We also have all the brochures. Now, this quote here is very robust. I understand, but this is something that's really going to help you out through your process. How many times do you have to go back to a house and drop off a sample board, drop off a brochure, tell them to come to your office to come see your shingle wall, anything like this? But when you're there, you know that they're already going to be looking and researching these products online. Why not give them the information up front and show them something super detailed that's going to give them the features of the shingles, give them the options that's surrounding it that could really, really blow them away and make them feel comfortable that they're talking to a reputable roofer who's going to be there for them after the purchase.
Yeah, I love this part of it. I think this really makes the proposal so visually appealing to be able to have this literature in there. And the beauty of it is it's as simple as just uploading a PDF. It's so simple to get this stuff in there. And that's what's fantastic about it. I can just add this stuff right into my template so that every time one of my salespeople pulls a template in, all of this stuff's already preloaded. They don't have to go look for it. It's all in that template ready to go. All they have to do is map that measurement and get a price, and all the literature is already attached. The terms and conditions are already going to be there. And now we've even added the ability to upload photos. So if you're doing an inspection or you need it for insurance purposes, or you just want to draw attention to parts of the roof for the customer's sake, just for their own education, you have the ability to do that by uploading photos now as well.
It's really cool because you could get that quote out within seconds. You can build it up, and we'll show that very soon. So like you said, all your brochures and stuff, that's at 31 pages that is already added in, and it's boom, it's done. And then you can go back and quickly upload photos with ease, annotate them, mark them up, show them all this stuff. These are inspections that I've personally done. As crazy as they seem, like the flange being 3 inches too big and mod bit and caps missing. You could have these photos, add them in, and really give that person that full 360 view, not only from what is about to happen, but what's going on the roof right now. Maybe bring up the urgency, maybe show them that there's a claim available for your roof, really be able to break it down and speed up that process. So we're talking about speed to lead. You could order that roof measurement on your way out to the house if you are inclined to take photos of everything. Have the measurement ready, take the photos, and go to your truck and click a button and have it built out right away. So it really makes a really nice, robust feature. And what we can get going is have something from here, our classic roof, like our flagship product, which is our Roofr reports, and measure them out directly into everything else. So, yeah, I can jump right into that, Pete. Do you think it's a good time?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's just go ahead and create a proposal and let's see how quickly we can do this. One thing to note as Nick is doing this too is, you know, taking this now, you got to think traditionally, I'm going out, like Nick said, I'm going out to the house. I'm, you know, maybe taking photos, maybe taking measurements, whatever the case may be. Then I'm either going back to the office or I'm going somewhere else to write up a quote, right? And maybe I'm a pen and paper guy. This could take hours. Maybe I have to go back to the office, type it up in Word, whatever the case may be, right? So now I'm taking a second trip out to the house to present this to the customer, possibly even a third trip, like you said, to bring, sample boards or to get a signature, and we've just taken all of that and made it to where you can literally turn this whole entire process into a one-call close, right?
Yeah.
Where you can go, like you said, I can take my information now, even if I had to do an inspection, I can walk back to the truck. And as you'll see, Nick's going to build out here a quote in a matter of minutes. And then I could walk back up to the door and get an electronic signature on it.
Yeah, we're talking about that, taking that speed to lead from like a traditional 48-hour turnaround from the time that the call or the email comes in to actually having a quote in that customer's hand to less than 3 hours. So you can order that report. Like we said, it takes around if you're on the premium subscription, it takes under 3 hours. 3 hours is what is guaranteed in. Have that report ready, jump into your proposals area and click on new proposal. It's going to bring up all the measurements that you have in the system. And I'll just take this one here because that's what we're just looking at. Use this measurement, and then you pick the template that you want. It will show you which ones are multi-option templates and which ones are basic ones. But I'm feeling a little daring today. I want to go with the multi-option because I like upselling. This is another cool feature with this happens is it's going to open the door for you to upsell to other products as well. Not just offer one thing and then have a note on the bottom. It's going to upsell. But what it does from here is it calculates all the line items from that measurement report, the eaves, the valleys, the hips, the ridges, the rakes, and builds them directly into the report. And we are 15 seconds in and we have 4 quotes already done. The only thing that we have to go in is change the waist on the items. For ones that don't map, like a downspout, which is a vertical line, you just add the number in and change the margin. Talk about the margin tool and how much this can really help with the process, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, this is huge, right? So I've worked with a customer, I was telling Nick yesterday, who had a very large sales force. And one of the things that they did is their sales manager acted as if he was the gatekeeper, right? So everything that they did, they had to run through him and he essentially had to approve it, or he was just going in and just double checking, right? Just to make sure that everything was up to snuff, that we're making sure we're getting the profit margins that we want out of our sales team. This is it, right? I can come in behind these guys, look at their quotes, and I can see what my cost of the job was, what kind of profit I'm making, what the margin was set at. If there were adjustments made to individual line items, I can see all of that here. So it's very visible. It's very easy to see on every quote. And I love the fact that the cost of goods sold is built right in there now so that you can see what this job is costing you. Right. So when it comes to ordering material and stuff like that, I know where I stand. Right. So I know maybe, depending on where I'm at, maybe my geographical area allows me to bump my profit margin a little bit more or something along those lines. I have the ability to say, okay, this is what this job's going to cost me. Let's go ahead and bump it up a little bit. Let's get a little bit extra out of this job. All I got to do is slide this margin slider. It's going to calculate it for the whole entire document. It's going to apply it to every line item that I have linked to that. If I need to update an individual line item, I can unlink those and make that adjustment on the fly. So lots, like Nick talked about, tons of flexibility here, tons of ability to customize this, even at the proposal level, even beyond the template itself, going all the way as granular as down to the proposal. And one thing to note too here is that, he's doing a multi-option. you have the ability, if you're a granular line item guy, you can build out a catalog that's super extensive and you can get in here and show them every single line item. If you're a lump sum or a scope of work estimator, you have the ability here to just create single line items or basic line items and just map them to your square price, and have just more of like a paragraph form style of quoting. So you have, just so much flexibility. And the thing that I like about that is, because one of the biggest resistances that I've seen in the past is, how do I get my sales force to adopt this, right? And say, yeah, let's use that rather than what we're using now. The easiest way to do that is to mirror what they're doing now. Just make it a digital version of it, right? Like, let's not recreate the wheel and have to train our guys to do things an entirely different way. If they're doing scope of work quotes right now, have them do scope of work quotes in here, set up the templates so that they're going to be successful, still quoting exactly the same way. If you have a granular process or they're insurance guys and you need to get granular as part of it, here's your opportunity. Set them up that way. As long as that mirrors the process that they're using now, they're going to use it, right? You're not asking them to learn something completely new, to recreate the wheel here and start over from scratch. It's just the same quoting they're doing now, just in a more efficient system.
Yeah, and that's the cool thing about the whole process is knowing your numbers. A lot of guys out there don't really know, going back to what you said before, the cost of goods, the labor, and the profit. They just know install prices and then their profit. So a lot of guys will, if you talk to them, they're like, how much are you charging a bundle? Oh, I'm charging $85 a bundle, $100 a bundle. Or how much are you charging per square? You're looking at everything and breaking it down bit by bit to see exactly what we're looking at, but you're not breaking it down that it's $27 a bundle. I got $14 in in labor, and then I got $10 in profit. It's not something that you do often. So it's something that you're able to really take a look at and see what needs to be done and how. And it's going to speed up that process, open up the ability for you as a business owner or a salesperson to understand how much you're making, what you're doing, your close ratios on everything as well. So you're able to really build things out. And as Pete was talking, I was able to build out that quote, add the margins, add the waste to everything. And now just for fun, I'm adding in a couple of photos. So it just makes it as easy. I just was able to mark it up and I'm annotating it right now just to tell the customer, this is what we're looking at.
Yeah, this is a great tool if you're someone who's doing inspections, right? Photos are so important when we're doing, maybe inspections as part of our sales process. Maybe that's how we get our foot in the door to do an initial roof inspection. You can use this tool now to take those photos from the inspection and plug them right in to the actual quote itself, right? So you're kind of capturing both ends of it. And, I really like the fact that this is built in and how easy it is to use, how easy it is to upload the photos, because it makes a huge difference, in, like you said, in that transparency and that education of the customer.
Yes, exactly. You can see that you can really educate them exactly that point. That education and transparency is going to make a big difference overall on everything. And the crazy thing is, not only are you showing this information and be able to break this all down for them bit by bit, but you're also able to provide them with the brochures. It's really going to help out. So in the time that we've been talking, and talking obviously slows some stuff down, but we're able to build a quote within a couple minutes. So think about that from time of lead. So you get that call, you could put the measurement in. It's $10 for a measurement report from us instantly, and have that built out and get it ready so that you could add this stuff in a second. And it creates the proposal and it's ready to send off to the customer for an e-signature as well. A lot of what some of our guys do as well is that they are able to use our DIY functionality and everything else as well to their advantage. So they might come up to a house. They might be door knockers going out there, taking a look at everything and looking at the home. They're able to get back in their truck on their iPad or on their laptop or whatever, sketch out the roof, exactly what needs to be done, and transfer all the measurements into a proposal and hand it right off to the customer. So you're able to build something out in seconds now. It's going to speed up your process and blow away your competition, frankly, because we know most of your competition out there is not doing it the new way. Be the first in your area and make a name for yourself by providing this information to the customers. We always talk about referrals too, talk about increasing your brand power. Imagine you hand this to a customer whereas somebody else handed them a piece of carbonate paper that was marked up by them in the truck. They're going to tell all their neighbors. You're going to get repeat business out the wazoo. It's going to really speed up the whole process.
Yeah, no, I mean that's a huge point. Is so much of today is your image, right? It's so easy for me to Google you and find your website and see reviews of your company. So, the more professional we can look, the more professional we can portray ourselves right from the very beginning, the better off we're going to be, right? The more work that's going to get us, the more referrals that's going to get us. Because let's be honest, at the end of the day, still the best marketing tool out there is word of mouth, right? It's still how we're getting most of our business. So, if you have someone, you do a roof for them, they're going to tell their neighbors, they're going to tell their friends. And if they still have this quote digitally and can show it to people, like, look at this, look what this guy gave me, right? Like, he's got pictures of my roof in here. My house is on the cover. Like, he broke everything down. He's got options here of things that I could, purchase from him. All that stuff is right there. I mean, it's an amazing sales tool, even after the fact, not even, after we've sold that roof, it could still sell for us. It's that powerful of a tool.
Yeah, it's getting that repeat business. And speaking of after the fact, one really cool thing that we do here is track. So we're able to track what happened with that there. So you can kind of filter out what draft sent signed. But once it's sent out, you'll be able to see how many times that it was viewed, what was going on with it, how it was signed, the time. So you can see if a customer has looked at this quote 2-3 times and gives you the signal to be like, let's call that person back. Mr. Customer, saw that you looked at the quote a couple times. Do you have any questions? You could mark it as signed. You could also make sure that they have the notes in here. So if they are having the colors, I know that I've done it in the past, and I'm sure a lot of the people watching have put a wrong color on a roof. It sucks. It happens. But now you can't make the mistake. It's written by the customer and it's built into your system.
Yeah. And I think this is such an important part of it, because I think one of the things that we traditionally struggle with in this industry from a sales standpoint is the follow-up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Knowing when to follow up with a customer, just knowing who we've got proposals out with, where they stand, have they been viewed? Have they submitted, have we even sent them? How do we see that? And here we can see all of that. Like, we can see which ones have been sent. Even if we have someone in the office possibly that's monitoring that and checking on the sales team, we can go in there and we can look at that and see, where do we stand? Where does this specific salesperson stand? How many signatures have they gotten? Are they following up with these folks that have viewed their proposal, but maybe haven't signed it? Let's find out why. Is it a price thing? Is it, do they have an issue with something on the quote? Is there something we just need to tweak? Simple stuff like that. Now we have the visibility here to be able to make those adjustments and stay on top of it.
Yeah, and just really grow your company. If you're a one-man show, if you're a one-woman show, if you're a big company that has multiple divisions, multiple offices, this is a way that we could help out with your sales side. We're not saying replace your CRM. We're looking at stuff that we could add to your process to make you a lot more streamlined, allow you to bring down your overhead. Because if you have your sales team out of the CRM working directly out of a sales tool like this, you're saving some money right off the bat there. And on top of that, you have everything on the CRM for production side. Speaking of saving money, perfect timing. We do have our holiday promotion, Black Friday, Thanksgiving, all that stuff. We got one of the biggest deals we've ever done, 40% off Roofr Premium Annual and 5 free roofing reports. So that's looking at like an $800 value off the bat, along with 5 free roofing reports, Roofr reports as well. So talking about getting you ready for the next season, let's get the setup ready to go. And we have an unbelievable team that are willing and happy to answer any questions, give you a quick run through. And if you're signed up and ready to go, we have a customer success team in-house, not someone we're outsourcing to, an in-house customer support team, success team that's going to help you from start to finish. And this deal, we normally have these masterclass deals that are one day. This goes from now until the end of the month. So we know it's holidays. We know the Americans are getting hungry for the turkey. So we'll give you some time to digest that turkey, think about this, and get back to us by Tuesday, the November 30th.
But let's talk about pricing really quick, Nick, since we brought that up and since we have this offer. I think so many times, when we're looking at these platforms, we're gauging, oh man, this is going to be a monthly fee that I got to pay. This is just another thing that's going to come out of the account, right?
Yeah.
And, so I think one of the things to really note here is looking at the price of Roofr, right? If I go out to a job, let's take modest markup, right? Like modest profit margin. If I win one job because I was the first one to the table with this, or I was the best looking proposal, just the cleanest, most professional proposal out there, one win directly responsible for me using Roofr, paid for Roofr for the year.
And more. Like I brought up an old
Right?
quote here just to kind of prove your point because I saw where you're going with it and I loved it. So it's you're looking at with this Roofr premium deal, the 40% off, it's $1072 for the year, $1,072 plus 5 free reports, which is a $50 value right off the bat there too. So you're looking at a large house here, but I'm using flubbed pricing that are super cheap. So I know that it's not even accurate. But say you're looking at a 287 bundle roof like this. In Roofr, you could see how much you made on that job. So with my cheap pricing, you made $7,200. That's 7 years for free if you want to put it down. So it really makes it a lot easier. And not only are we an industry leader in our reports that are only $10, our subscriptions, we give the options because we are roofers making stuff for roofers. We know that we have people that want to go month to month, so we have a month-to-month option. We have an annual option. If you're on annual, you're saving the winter months for free. Your slow time, your downtime, whatever you want to call it. We understand that there's a seasonality component to roofing. So with Pro, if you go annual, you save 20%. With Premium, if you go annual, you save 25%. That's going to cover your entire winter months for free. If you get this deal now, that's on right now, it's 40%. That's 5 months for free. Think about buying this now and your first 5 months, don't worry about it. You sell one job, you also don't have to worry about it because you have it covered. So it's pretty impressive.
And I think the biggest thing to note too is that it's all under one roof, right? I don't have to have multiple platform subscriptions that I have to keep track of in order to do this. I'm getting my measurements, I'm getting my proposals, I've got digital signature, all of these things that traditionally I would have to go get multiple platforms to cover. I don't have to do that anymore. It's all under one umbrella right here. And like you said, you win that job right there. You just paid for all of those tools for the next 7 years. I mean, that's incredible when you look at it like that, right? So, so just a very cost-effective solution to really take your business to the next level. And, I think that, it's a no-brainer really, you know what I mean? It's just going to make you so much more efficient. It's going to open up the possibilities, like talking about how we traditionally would go out and quote versus this, the thing that I was thinking of in my mind is you're not talking about, like you said, traditionally you're talking about 48 hours maybe from time of lead come in till we get a quote in their hand. Now we're talking about 3 hours. You take that times a handful of salesmen over the course of the week, like we're saving days. We're not saving hours anymore. You know what I mean? Like we're literally probably opening up a day for these guys just in time that we're saving them. And what could they do if they had a whole nother day on their plate? How many more leads could they run? How many more jobs could they close? How much more follow-up could they do where now maybe they're overwhelmed? Maybe they're, backs against the wall trying to get to all their appointments. We just gave them an entire day in their week to now clean up all that stuff that they were pressed for time to do.
And follow up. And it's funny that you mentioned, I had a conversation with one of our users last week where he was talking about how his guys get topped out and like kind of burnt out at around 9 to 10 leads. Not burnt out like as in they can't do anymore, but they can't do it effectively and monitor those leads and help those customers effectively. And when we gave them the system, they were able to increase the volume without affecting the quality of helping them out because it didn't take them 2 days to draw something out and get something out there. They will order it and map to measurements and get it there. And since we're speaking of the customers and how it can increase your close ratio, let's take a look at what it would look like on their end. So I've sent out 2 of the quotes to us right here. So you can see that you'll have your logo here. This is the customer's view. And you could have a message. You have 10,000 characters you could work with. Please select the options. So this one is our multi-option for good, better, best. So all they have to do is click on this there. It opens a beautiful screen for them. I'll put that full screen so we could get a better look at it. And it's going to load that proposal that you sent out to them. This is a tool that's going to just blow them away. They're used to thinking about roofers as our friend Josh Bigger, being like a rough and tumble guy. But like, we got to think about it as Josh Bigger as the actual person behind it, a really savvy business person. And that's what we want to show ourselves as. So if they have this entire report and the same thing we looked at before, here's one way of signing it. They can click up here, and this is for the good, better, best. They can click this option or this option and be able to break it down real easy so they can see what they want, the totals, taxes, and everything here. They want to go with this one, and they want to go with the color more black for the shingles. Please be careful of my flowers. We all know the homeowners love their flowers and are worried. And they could sign right here and send it off and download a PDF. So that's one option when you're looking at just a single off or a good, better, best. I love the next option. The next option, Pete, you know how much is my favorite. I get really into it, and because of the ability to kind of play with it. So if we go to the second option here, which is please select the options that you'd like to go with and the colors that you'd like. Same thing, your logo's here and everything. You click on view proposal, and here's a new world for this customer and a new world for you when you're looking at selling this stuff. A lot of the times we're sending out financing, by the way, 0% financing through Roofr. If you'd like that as well, we can help you out. But you're going to give them multiple options, whether there's a repair, whether there is a skylight replacement, or whatever the case may be. But with this multi-feature, and you just have to flag it on before you send it out, you could select 1 or 2 or 3 or 2 options. And you can watch that price go up. So the customer really has an in-depth view of how much they're about to spend and how much they could afford. If they're financing, they're approved up to like $10,000, say. Well, they could see how close they can get to that $10,000 mark by switching stuff around. And this really gives them an interactive experience that they could really start learning, understanding what they're dealing with, along with that detailed proposal, and pick out what they want. They want this GIF, or wood shingles, brown aluminum. And it's marked, it's covered in your system, and you have everything ready to go. It's talking about blowing them away from the proposal, the speed to lead. Now the signing process is cooler and better than ever.
Yeah, I love this because it gives your sales team the ability to upsell, right? So they can say, hey, I know you had me out here to quote your roof, but I noticed, that you need some siding work done. I noticed that you needed some repairs to your fence or whatever the case may be, whatever other trades you're covering, right? You can have them built into this quote. And the nice part about that is, like you said, if you're dealing with finance customers, now you can max out, right? Like you can say to them like, hey, we've got a little bit of extra. You were financed up to this figure. Let's go ahead and see what other options we have, what other things we can add to the mix. And what I like about this too is, I had a conversation a little bit while back with the guys at Hail Trace, and we were talking about how do you become not just the roofer that does their house and then they never talk to you again. You become their roofer for life, like their guy. This is a great piece of that, right? Because now I've quoted them a couple of items, and although they may not be able to tackle all these items right now, they've already got my quote. They know I can come back and do the gutters. They know I can come back and replace some windows. They already have a quote for it in their hand, right? So they could call me 2 months from now and say, hey, I know I passed, on that siding repair, when I initially did the job with you, but we're ready for that now. Would you be willing to come back? I already have a quote. Is the price still good? Absolutely. Let's run over there and go ahead and just make sure everything's good to go. And then, you can utilize this quote to even keep you in the forefront, like you said, to keep you at the top of their list when the time comes to do other repairs on the exterior of their house. Be that guy, stay that guy in their mind. You're not just their roofer. Like you're the guy that could be there, for a lifetime of repairs.
Exactly. And it's cool because then the customer will have this copy of the signed PDF, and so will you. You'll see the options that they selected and the ones that they aren't, but it doesn't mean that price is gone. It's still visible for them. So just like that point you made there, Pete, is you're now the roofer for life. You're here to help them out with everything and winning more business, and that's the goal out of this overall. Is we're creating a all-in-one sales tool for roofers. So starting at the measurements, going over to the proposals, and getting everything signed up. So we have a lot of availability, a lot of things that we are building out and coming soon as well. We're more excited than ever to continue to bring you these master classes and show you a lot about it. And don't forget about that promo deal that we have below.
Yeah, absolutely. I really appreciate everybody taking the time out today. Hopefully, you learned something about the product that you didn't know we had. If you guys do have any questions, feel free to reach out to the sales team. They are phenomenal. They'd be more than happy to run through it in depth with you guys and show you a little bit more. Like Nick said, a great opportunity to take advantage of a fantastic deal with us and get going on this here in the off season. Get your team set up for success going into 2022. Any last words, Nick, as we head out from this masterclass?
No, I'm just really excited everybody was able to join, take a look at it. Don't wait for getting yourself ready for next year. I know that every time growing up in Toronto when we're building our business, it's quiet. I worked throughout the winter and I knew that I had some time to kind of like build up the pipeline. But then every April hits and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Like there's just too much work. Well, let's streamline that process now. Let's build out a system for us to get everything moving and have yourself ready for that new year so that you can not guess on where you'll be for growth, to actually know where you're going to get to.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you again in the next masterclass.
Thanks again, everyone.